What was surprising there is just how large that holding has gotten. It was valued at about $1.4 billion, which we're not sure if this is Buffett himself. He actually told you last year in Sun Valley, I think it was,
that it wasn't his.
That it wasn't his. But it's just astounding. You know, they looks like they cracked the top 10 list of GM holders with this additional stake they took.
Any idea how that could fit into the portfolio, GM?
It's hard to say. I mean, we do know that they like concentrating bets. It's sort of up for debate how they see that going. I know GM is doing a huge product refresh cycle.
Yes.
Cars are pretty old in the U.S., so
I mean, it's a consumer product ultimately,
right?
And he bets on consumer products for sure.
There's that as well.
Okay, so there are a couple of other holdings that were pointed out. Suncor, Dish TV, they're a little bit smaller.
Right.
And the speculation is that that's not Warren Buffett, that's Todd Combs or Ted Weschler.
Right, his deputies.
Yes.
Right. He's said in the past that the big holdings are his, but the smaller ones are likely being made by Ted and Todd.
Now, there's another interesting element to this, is there's some confidentiality aspects to this filing. What's that all about?
Yeah, I actually think that's maybe the most significant thing of all here. We know from Berkshire's cash flow statements that they spent about $4.6 billion in the second quarter on stocks. Back of the envelope calculation, it's an inexact science, is maybe a little bit more than $2 billion was reported on the 13F. So there's a gap there. And
why, right?
And
the question is why, yes.
So we know in the past when Berkshire has done this, Buffett has been building really big stakes. He did this in 2011, for instance, when he was spending almost $11 billion to buy the holding in IBM.
Well, could there be any other conclusion other than that they are building a stake in some company? They don't want to disclose that right now.
Right. It's a reasonable conclusion. The SEC will sometimes grant companies confidential treatment to limit copycat investing. Because if you're building a major holding, you don't want to run up the price while you're doing it.
And now, just on a final note, I mean, this is a lot of buying going on for Berkshire Hathaway, the most in 2 years. What do you take away from that?
Well, Buffett hasn't been shy about saying that he likes stocks,
right.
And he likes them a heck of a lot more than bonds these days with where interest rates are.